Hello and welcome to the Fishing Guide Podcast. I'm your host, Brad Wiegmann, and we are down in Mississippi, but you know what? We're going to pull a little trick on them. We're going to talk to someone who's a guide in Oklahoma.
Yes, sir.
And so Michael Meeks. Michael, tell them a little bit about yourself.
I'm from Lawton, Oklahoma originally. I always fished Lake Ellsworth with my grandfather, and I decided to go full-time, so I packed up everything, quit my job, and moved to northeast Oklahoma, and been pretty good since then. Everything's been going good.
So what lakes do you guide on in Oklahoma?
Oologah mainly, Hudson, if somebody really just wants to go there.
Uh-huh.
But, yeah, Oologah and Hudson.
You're a crappie guide.
Yes, sir, crappie.
Right? Do you do anything else? Just crappie?
Spoonbill if somebody requests it, yeah.
Okay.
We kind of chase them and try to snag them and hold
Right.
on for the fight.
Oh, there you go.
We didn't wear them out dragging them behind the boat, so they're fresh. You're going to have to hold on.
Let's talk about crappie fishing in Oklahoma in general. Just tell us a little bit, knowingly that this could air in a month or so or somewhere in there. Let's talk about where you fish. Talk about that reservoir.
Okay, Oologah is a very big lake, so you got very unlimited places to fish. But, you know, in the summer, in the heat, you want to stay up north. It's shallower water. There'll be bigger fish around. Like right now, middle of the lake, every brush pile's got 100 fish on it.
Wow.
Some don't want to eat, some do. So if they don't want to eat, just move on to the next one because you're just wasting time.
And really, as it gets warmer, they get into that shallower water then?
Move up.
That's
they're
crazy.
They're right off the edge. Like, you got shore 20 feet, there's all the fish.
I got
But
you.
it's still 25 foot deep or so, you know.
Oh, I see.
So we're ready to go off into the channels and into the creeks. And some of them are in the creeks already, but they're not pushed up all the way. They're still staged out.
So what's your method of catching them? I saw your boat outside there. Tell us a little bit. Are you spider rigging or one pulling?
I'm the live scope guy. So
all right.
If I'm fishing me by myself, I chase them around one at a time. With clients, normally we spot lock, switch to a different transducer. Right. They can just work the brush pile, one fish after the next. You know.
Let's talk about that setup that you have on the front of your boat and having a separate pole to see them in live scope.
It definitely matters which style fishing you're doing.
Which pole do you have?
I have a Sea Light 2.0. Yep.
Okay. There you go. Just throw it right out there.
It's a good mount. If you want to move fast and not mess with stuff, it's the one to go. Turn 2 screws, flip it, turn them and run.
There you go. Talk about the back end of your boat.
Yeah, I got 2 sets of trolling motors. That's to back up or stop or just slow down, whatever you need to do. So if you're chasing that single fish,
right,
and we're all in a hurry to get him, so we move a little too fast.
Right.
You just touch that little button and it'll.
So kind of like a dimmer switch if you're old, a dimmer switch in a car.
Yeah.
But an on-off switch that's on the bottom of the thing, and so you put the trolling motors down on yours.
Yeah. You put them in manually because I didn't want to waste any money.
Right.
And then it's all wired where it's on, but not until you touch the button, and they're just whatever setting you have them on. Some guys just wire them direct, but I still have my controls.
Basically, crappie brakes, but
it's brakes,
not.
But
they're
homemade,
crappie stoppers, I guess we should call them, because
that's what they should be. Because now it's you can stop and back up, if you wanted to.
And tell them how critical that is, because presentation when it comes to crappie and looking at them, that's the whole. It's actually changing. I said crappie brakes. I said those were going to revolutionize. So power poles were when power poles came out that actually changed fishing, especially in the bass world. Sure. But crappie brakes are actually going to change not only the crappie world, it's the bass fishermen are going to. The lights are going off in their heads, and they're going.
They drop shot a lot.
Right, drop shot, or if they're in the Great Lakes, the only part of their boat that's usually in the water is the back.
Right.
And so they'll literally be able to hold on some of those. Yeah. When little waves, 3 and 4 footers.
Oh yeah. Or if you want to stop the boat splash.
Right.
You know how the boat splashes on your boat? Well, you can flip around now and fish with the wind and just keep tapping to slow you down.
So you're over there by Tulsa,
yes,
right?
Sir.
What's the distance from Tulsa to the lake you're fishing?
40 miles probably.
40 miles.
Somewhere in that range.
Right. So how many square acres is that?
Oh, gosh. It's 40 miles long.
It's 40 miles long?
30,000 acres, yeah.
We have some people in the background. They're helping us out today.
Exactly
We got people in the crowd that are Cook's back there. He's going to do the next podcast
Yes,
show.
sir.
So you might throw some things out to him.
Oh,
too.
I will. I'm going to get him, yeah.
So you're one pulling. Tell us about your setup. Rods, reels,
H&H
and then lures.
rods and reels. I use a 13.5-foot War Pig from Fank Heidesack.
Okay.
Clients, I usually give them a 12 because the longer they are, the harder they are to use. Now, if you're experienced fisherman, sure, we'll get the long rod out for you. But in the beginning, you better to start a little shorter.
Yeah.
Don't go too long, too fast.
Right. Now let's go with your reel. Line.
I use the H&H reel, the 150 series. I use 20-pound canine or 20-pound vicious, either one.
Okay. And what are you using? What are you using for lures to catch these?
Tiny's hand ties, jigs, and snacky lures, and I get all my heads from Big Daddy's lures.
All right. So, Tiny, talk a little bit about his lures because you just kind of skipped through this part. I tell you what, even guides want to skip the part where the important thing, they don't want to tell you what lures they're using. He barely tells us what lake.
Yeah.
But yeah, tell us about the lures. So why is it special? Why are you using them?
The hand ties, I think it just resembles a natural insect or something more, I think. And, the plastics are solid and they look more like a minnow, but if it's the time of year where bugs are dropping out the trees, might go with something that looks like a little bug, because they're going to be eating that anyway.
And size of jig heads, which ones are you usually going with?
90% of the time it's a 16th ounce or 32nd. Sometimes if I'm really trying to move fast, I'll go a little heavier, but normally I just put a bigger weight above it.
Okay, you're using a split shot or something above it, or are you using a
barrel weight?
Barrel weight down to a.
Yeah.
Oh, you just peg it?
I got 3/4 of an ounce barrel weight on my rod right now.
Right.
That's so I can go really fast and it'll keep up with me.
Mm-hmm. And you're just pegging it with a toothpick, or are you using a swivel?
Yeah, we got two beads and bobber stops.
Oh, all right.
And if you put a really heavy barrel weight, put 2 bobber stops below it because you just make it go down every time you set the hook anyway.
Yeah. We were at Reedfoot Lake. That was real popular there at Reedfoot Lake. Some of the guys were doing that and using the stops like that. Yeah. Tell them the advantage of using bobber stops instead of using a swivel.
I don't know about the biggest advantage, but between the barrel weight and the split shot is you're not crimping your line, damaging it, and then when you catch a big fish, it snaps.
Right.
Every time you put that lead on there with the pliers, you're taking a chance of causing some damage.
Right.
So that's why I use the barrel weight, so I don't damage anything.
All right. So tell us, so that reservoir, does it have lots of brush in it? Oolagog, right?
Yeah.
That's the one.
It does have brush.
Uh-huh.
I wouldn't call it like full of brush. But if you go to the north side, there's lots of standing timber and stuff. But there is lots of brush on the banks.
Right.
But, Oklahoma's there's no natural lakes, so they're all full of stuff.
Right.
When they flooded them, whatever was there got flooded.
I see. So tell us a little bit more about it. Just a normal guide trip. Where you meet them at? Usually what ramp?
Spencer Creek Boat Ramp is where we normally meet. It's right in the middle. No matter which way we want to go, it's easy to just head either direction,
Is that a Corps of Engineer lake, or is that a water supply lake?
Corps, yeah.
Because they do have water supply lakes in that Tulsa area.
Yeah, Uchi and Spavinall are the Tulsa drinking water.
You don't take anyone out there? Because I know there's fish in there. I've been there and caught crappie before.
Monster black crappie in there, but getting one to bite something is a whole different deal. You can see
That's why
30
they're bigger,
feet deep, and they know you're there before you even know they were there.
Right.
They're not going to eat nothing.
Tell us.
I do know a guy that went with an A-rig, and he wore them things out. Now, I haven't gone to try to replicate it, but he caught over 20 2-pounders on A-rig.
Wow.
When nobody else could catch anything. Wow. Maybe they just see the school and naturally just go for it. I don't know.
They might.
Yeah.
What is, let's talk a little bit about your live scope. How do you have your live scope set? How many feet out? Are you changing the range? Tell us how you set it up so that you're able to see the fish.
Keep it at 40.
40?
I run a 126, and I keep it at 40 and 30 down. And I don't adjust it much because I know exactly what those fish look like at that size. So, like, if you shorten anything up, the fish get bigger. So now that 6-inch crappie looks like the 2-pound crappie you caught last week, and you're going to chase him around all day for nothing.
Right.
And then I have a 32 transducer on the trolling motor and a 34 on a pole.
Right.
So if I'm chasing fish by myself or with an experienced client, we're on the transducer on the trolling motor.
Okay.
Amateurs or anybody, kids love it. You just spot lock, switch it to the pole, get over a brush pile. The boat doesn't move. They can watch everything happen however they need to do it. They can learn real slow and just catch fish.
So that's the only method. You don't spider rig, huh? You don't break them out.
Oklahoma, we don't spider rig much. No, never even seen it till somebody showed it to me down here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, nobody does it up there. Now we troll a lot, pull crankbaits a lot.
Oh, you pull crankbaits?
Right.
Do you do that with clients or
yes,
not?
Sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, you do? So you push? Mm-hmm.
Certain times of year when they're all spread out.
Right.
That's the best way.
Like in summer?
Yeah.
Summertime?
If you're not going for really big fish, sure.
Right.
Yeah. Or, if it floods or even spawn time, they'll pull out.
Right.
Males and females will be moving around. If you just go through them with a curtain of jigs or crankbaits, you got to get something, That's just a numbers game. You put enough baits out there and cover enough water, something's going to eat it.
Well, that's good when you get – how many people do you normally take in your boat?
I like to do 1 or 2, but I'll take 3. Kids always fish free, 12 and under.
Okay.
We just pay for 1 adult, bring 2 kids, and we'll go have a blast.
There you go.
And, I don't know. I lost my train of thought.
Oh, is there more white crappie or black crappie?
Definitely more white crappie, yeah. Unless you get over to the rivers now. Neosho River, Grand Lake, Hudson, you can find some good black crappie in there. Now, you'll catch a black crappie in Oologah, but you might catch 1 black and 50 whites,
Let's give them a couple tips on catching crappie using live scope that you've seen over the years as a guide, like something that you've seen and said, hey, if you do this, you're going to catch more fish. If you do this, you're going to catch a lot more fish.
Okay. Biggest thing I could say that I've noticed, if you can get that bait to hold still, they will smash it. Now, it's hard to do. The boat's rocking, everything's moving.
Right.
But when you can get it to hold still, a lot of times they will hit it. And if they won't, just a slight little jiggle, you'll see it on the live scope. When you see it sitting still and you present a bait and you see something happen to that fish, it gets a little distorted, he saw it. He jiggled a little bit and he's about to get you. Or if he's coming, just raise real slow. Some people say to stop and eat it. I just keep going and make them chase it down.
Just keep going until they turn.
Real slow. They'll either eat it or not,
Right.
But if they're coming up after it, I want to move it a little bit, like natural instinct to run away,
Mm-hmm. So
no
tell us.
Fish is going to just sit there and let it get eaten.
That's right. That's right. So tell us, what's the limit of crappie? We know that it's crazy. It's Oklahoma.
It's Oklahoma.
You Okies can only count so many times. So
on Oologah, it's 37 a person.
Yeah, 37.
And it's not impossible to get 2 limits. It happens.
So someone could count to 54 when they did that, huh?
74, yes.
Oh, 74. Look at that.
Yeah.
Well, that's a lot of fish.
You got to know your numbers up there. You'll get in big trouble.
There you go. So that takes us to Tackle Time. Tackle Time is sponsored by PICO Lures. PICO Lures has a complete line of hard and soft baits. They even have lures that will catch a bunch of Oklahoma crappie, I hear. And so you can check them out. But actually, they have soft plastic, things that you want to catch bass fishing, crappie, walleye, about any game fish that you have, what they have will catch. We were trolling today with some PICO Lures down here in Mississippi on Lake Washington, catching, actually caught 9 good crappie out there today. So
y'all did really good.
That was good. Caught some of them on the brand new colors. James is over there, Callaway. I give him the peak because we went in his boat, and so we caught some on the new colors. So we're pretty excited about that, having people using them.
Make sure they work. You got
that's
know
right.
They work.
Yeah, you got to test them out.
Yeah, you
that's
a
heck of
confidence, man.
It's a heck of a job to have to do that.
No matter what you're using, if you believe in it, it's going to work better.
That's right. So you can check them out at PicoLures.com. If they want to find out more, Michael Meeks is his name. If you want to find out more about you, where would they go? Social media, website?
You can go to Facebook at Slabbin Mike's Crappie Fishing and Guide Service, or SlabbinMikesGuideService.com, or just call me at 405-420-7868, and we'll get you taken care of.
There you go. There you have it from an Oklahoma guy that's down here in Mississippi. So
yes, sir.
It's good stuff. Like I always like to end the show, make sure you keep your hook sharp and your lures in the water.